Mary and Preston, the neighbors, they say they heard up to a dozen gunshots and then watched as a crowd of people jumped in their cars and sped away. Well, the killer was one of those people who made a quick escape. As officers formed a line to scour the cemetery grounds for shell casings and other evidence, stunned neighbors tried to process the deadly violence they'd just witnessed.
I heard 6 quick gunshots. I walked up a little closer and saw the crowd dispersing. And about a minute later, heard 6 more gunshots. And then that's when everybody got in their cars and took off.
Other neighbors say a crowd of 50 or so people turned frantic as the bullets started flying.
And people were just running, getting in their cars and taking off at high speed.
Kent police say a man in his late teens or early 20s was shot and killed after a dispute between groups erupted in gunfire. Some neighbors wondered if the shooting is connected to a funeral that took place on Wednesday. But they say large crowds can be a common sight at Hillcrest Burial Park.
There's always people out paying their respects, big groups hanging out.
Well, sometimes groups will get there and then people will argue, rival groups or something. They'll fight over something.
One man in the crowd apparently did linger a little longer than the others, but even he took off before police had a chance to stop him.
And then there was one car left, and the driver kept getting out, getting back. I think he was checking on the guy that was shot.
Investigators have yet to say what the motive in the deadly shooting might be, but it's not what people who live near the graveyard expected to see.
This is the sad reality of what we're going through right now.
Well, to be absolutely honest, a lot of riders are telling me that they haven't had any problems on mass transit, and they're not really concerned about their safety. But I'll be able to tell you this, more and more people are coming up, and they're telling me that they are concerned, and they're concerned about the changes they're seeing.
I love public transportation,
but I never feel unsafe, really.
There's always been a few people that, you kind of want to stay away from.
So many riders tell us they're not worried about their safety on Link Light Rail or King County Metro Bus, and they haven't had any major problems. Student and medical office manager Lauren KEYTE was taking light rail today. She says there are limits as to where and when she'll take it.
I don't necessarily love riding at night, and I try and avoid downtown at night.
The recent attack on a nurse at the Pioneer Square station concerns a lot of people. ALICIA WRIGHT says she's taking light rail less.
With the late reports about the attacks at the Pioneer Square station, even during the day, I won't go to that area.
Flight attendant Lauren was taking light rail this week when this happened.
I was on the train going to the airport, and a man came on the train at the stadium station and started throwing milk on the passengers. It drenched another airline employee.
On social media, @RidingRapidDline posted, fights, threats, open drug use. It seems to be getting better in the past few weeks, but the bus is worse than light rail. King County Metro issued this response. Since last summer, in response to increased concerns on board coaches, Metro increased its security personnel development, specifically focusing on routes with high reports of incidents. The safety of our riders is our top priority. King County Metro says it's hiring 50 more transit security officers for 24/7 coverage and support. We asked about the number of complaints filed. Metro says there were 35 passenger physical alterations in January of this year. That number is down from 40 in January of last year. Tonight, outside the Westlake Station, we count 7 sheriff's deputies patrol units. We don't know if this is normal, but it's definitely a strong law enforcement presence. Now, we checked back in with Sound Transit, and they tell us that this year there have been 27 physical passenger assaults involving Link Light Rail trains, and last year there were 84. Now, keep in mind, there are 1.5 million passenger boardings every month. Live in Seattle, Suzanne Fawn, KOMO News.
And we want to hear from you. A KOMO News poll asks if you feel safe riding public transportation in the Seattle area. At last check, 15% of you said yes, compared to 85% who said no. If you want to vote, just look for the poll on the KOMO News Twitter page. Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.